Oh, hey guys, welcome back to the Detour Live. And for those of you who are watching, I left the image up of Michael Storer winning overnight. Fantastic win. Just joins another illustrious list of young Aussies that are dominating on the world stage. Big show tonight. I'm your host, Dan Jones, joined as always by four-time National Road Champion Johnny Travari, Olympic gold medalist and commentator Scott McGrory. And before I start anything, I want to say to people, if you like the show, please like, share, subscribe, youtube.com/the Detour Podcast. Just tick that little subscribe button. It does make a difference. We really appreciate the support. And that's the first time I've said it at the top of the show. So it's going to be a good one, fellas.
And you're going to do it for a week, but you got there. Well done, Dan.
Scooter, I'll start with you. It's good to have you back on the show, mate. How you been?
Yeah. Well, actually, just listening to the intro, Phil Lickett's voice again and the music. It was good. It got me all excited. So well done on you, Dan, obviously, for putting that the intro together. But, I've been a bit busy this week, so I'll be the first to admit that I haven't been completely on top of the Vuelta. I've been off doing some other bits and pieces of work, which has been quite novel and quite interesting. But, it's great to be back on, lads.
Are you going to make another statement so that's one of the best ever stages you've seen? Of any Grand Tour?
I am going to say that, and you're going to turn it around later on and say that I said it was the best, but it is one of the best. It was a fantastic stage. I got to tell you, I was glued to the TV. I thought, I won't set the alarm because I'm watching this whole stage. It looks so good. Cat 1 climb, 5K at the start, finishing with the Cat 1 climb, and like a sore tooth in between. It was always going to be something special. So right at the start, the breaks were coming back. Michael Storer, he started a break, which I thought was going to be a really good one, but they got caught. Next thing, another break goes. Michael's in that again, and I'm thinking, whoa, and they got a good bit of a lead. And I fell asleep watching that. That was just after the Cat 1 climb, and because I never set the alarm, I slept right through the bloody stage. So I didn't, I had to watch it all now, of course. But it's amazing. And seriously, Michael Storer, he owned that stage. I mean, you look at all the things that happened. He was a part of every move. There was some damn good bike riders. Ended up 29 bike riders in the breakaway, and a lot of riders who are up on GC. We're going to potentially take the red jersey. Obviously, Roglic didn't care too much. He just sat back. He had Sepp Kuss in the break, one of his right-hand man in the mountains. Didn't seem too perturbed with that. But as it panned out, we had 4 Aussies in the break, which was fantastic. So we had Michael Storer, of course, Chris Hamilton, Jack Haig, who did a great ride, moved right up at the top 10 now, and Jay Vine, who was mixing it with them and really getting stuck into it. So just one of the great stages, one of the great stages of any Grand Tour.
Hey, Scooter, do you think that the fact that Roglic is not sort of panicking in these early weeks, do you think it's a mixture of, cool, calm experience, but also not wanting to cook your biscuits because, he's obviously been up with the Olympics and keeping on top of your form as well?
Yeah, it's been a challenging one for him, hasn't it? But what an interesting and up and down year it's been. Now, he's been in this situation before. He got beaten by Carapaz when he was trying to win the Giro a couple of years ago, came back to win the Vuelta, then was hoping to go on to win the Tour the next year, and that didn't happen. So, look, I think he's just getting more and more confident as well. Like the Tour de France this year, he crashed and hurt himself. So it's not like he was riding poorly. He didn't have, someone beat him in the final time trial stage as we saw the year before. So I think, he knows he's on really good form. He recovered, obviously, from that crash, went to the Olympics and was strong in the road race and incredible in the time trial. So he just comes in with great form. And they all know their data now. They know their numbers from all their training to see what sort of level they're at. So I think he's got good confidence. The team is strong. And you also look at who is there from overall classification type of riders. It doesn't have the same depth as what you would have at the Tour de France or perhaps even the Giro. But that said, no disrespect to anyone that's performed well in a Vuelta in previous years, because this has been, perhaps, except for last year, the Tour de France, and maybe even this year as well, but I think the last sort of 5, 6, 7 editions of the Vuelta have been the best Grand Tours of the year in terms of sporting nature and excitement. They've been great races, and this looks as like it's going to be exactly the same. You know, it's that mix of not the strongest GC, not all of the strongest GC guys, not the strongest GC teams. Then you got some sprinters there, but not without the sprinters lead out trains, and you got this real combination of, you know, and this is the race where, you know, someone can actually attack and hold on towards the end because the sprinters teams aren't there to bring every breakaway back in the final kilometre. So it's always been a really exciting race for me, and I think Roglic is just the man on form with the most confidence, and barring some crazy situation like we saw Valverde last night, unfortunate for him to have such a nasty crash. But if Roglic keeps it up, mate, he should ride all the way.
Yeah, well, Wendy Superfan said, so sad for Valverde. I'll run through a couple of the other comments. The Skull, good start. Mac99 says, wanted to go to bed but couldn't. It was a nice win, so they've obviously got more stamina than Iffy. Chris Blocky says, morning from Ireland, lads. And the Wheel Wizard, he says, Storer, well done. Another one leaving DSM to go to FDJ for next season. There's been a bit of a exodus, Iffy, from DSM. And it's surprising given that last year the chemistry was so strong. Yeah,
and we've been asking the question about what's going on at DSM a little bit of late. Now, interestingly, because that Michael Storer, that's his first Grand Tour win, but it is DSM's first Grand Tour win this year, which that's the surprising thing when you look at how they've been the last couple of years. But they were good yesterday because they had Michael as Chris Hamilton and Romain Bardet in the break. So they're obviously, I don't know what was going on. There seemed to be something wrong in the mix up, the culture. You saw rumours of stuff, but well, you know a little bit more about Scotty. I was talking to you earlier, so tell us what you were saying.
Yeah, well, I think you're right, because during the tour there were rumours about disgruntled riders and staff within the team. Now, we've been asking the questions, but we've only been asking them amongst ourselves, so we haven't got anyone to actually give us the proper answers.
Dan will tell you. Dan will tell you.
What do you want to know? What do you want to know?
Yeah, what's going on with DSM? Look, I actually rode because I'm in Bendigo now. After the Olympic Games, I went from, because of all the lockdowns in New South Wales, I didn't go back up north. So I've parked myself in Bendigo and rode mountain bikes last week with Chris Hamilton's father. And at the pub after the mountain bike ride, I said to him, I said, look, Keith, what's the story with DSM? You know, seems like there's been some issues within the team. And all he said was, oh, Chris is fine. He's re-signed. He's happy. I said, yeah, well, I know that. He's re-signed. I'm sure he's happy. Otherwise he wouldn't have. But the other two Aussies have gone. Joe Hindley's gone. Storer's gone. And he really didn't offer anything. But that Hamilton is happy and the other guys are not. But we know that there were stories going around at the Tour de France. So, I think there's something that's happened there.
DSM, do some things my way or it's the highway. Now, I would say that's probably the most common scenario when they say, oh, the culture's broken down. It always seems to be the same common denominator, and that is there's a little thing called respect, and it breaks down when there seems to be this pyramid structure and the people underneath feel like they're not being appreciated, whether you be riders or staff, the way people communicate, if you don't forward people the basic levels of respect. And it always seems to be if there's an issue, right, you got two options. You can sweep it under the rug and sort of do it, where you're not communicating openly, or you can do it like in an open way. And you can say, hey, we've got an issue here. Let's talk about it. It always seems to be the breakdown with a lot of these things where they talk about culture. And it just, I don't know. I think obviously there's a lot of factors. There's budgets you got to play into, fold. There's always going to be riders or staff that aren't happy. But the ability to manage that and keep that respect and keep that culture strong is very, very difficult, as you know, being on other professional teams, Scooter and Iffy. But it's just a juggling act. And I think you throw the pandemic into it, right? Particularly in management, and when things get stressful, sponsors, the purse strings start to tighten up. It's a stressful environment, and some teams go one way, some teams go the other way. But I think generally, if you see a lot of riders like wanting to leave or whatever, that's when people start going, what's going on here? Like, particularly how strong that was, as we said, last year.
Yeah.
So
that in itself could have been some of the problems. So if you're in a team like that has a lot of young riders that last year really stepped up, they all want an increase in their salaries going forward. Okay, remember the pandemic last year, a lot of teams were paying less money, when everything was locked down and the races weren't happening. So you had that, plus riders doing well, young guys that weren't paid that much, and all collectively they all then showed that they were good enough and they want more money. And often you'll get more money from other teams. They'll see you value more in another team than you actually get from your own bosses because they bought you at such a young price. Look, I saw this at Team Gerolsteiner years ago. It was a Division 2 team that stepped up into the World Tour, and all of the guys that were there from the start for their whole careers were underpaid. And as they got better and started to win better races, it was just the perception that these guys weren't that good to start with. They were in the team at the start when it was smaller, and they were spending lots of money. They had Marcus Berg, they had David Rebellin, Levi Leipheimer. They were buying in all these other riders for double, triple the money that some of the good riders that were already in the team were getting paid. Yeah. So that's maybe one of the cases that was happening with DSM. Jai Hindley at the Giro, he deserved to get more money after that. Obviously now he's left the team getting more money, but not from DSM. And Storer has just shown, what he's capable of. And we saw that earlier this year as well, how strong and consistent he was being. And he'll be doing that. He'll go to this next level now, but for Group Arm FDJ and not for DSM.
Will was it? Rumour file. He says, ask Hamilton's father about the logbook the riders have to maintain for every minute of the day. It's like 3AW's rumour file,
Yeah, the Will comes up with some good stuff. He comes up with some good stuff.
Well, like if that is true, right? Again, comes back to a simple management of people. It's like a respect thing. Like if you micromanage people's roles, when you're at a World Tour level, guess what's happening? You've got world-class riders. And guess why they're world-class? They're good at their job. So what you need to do is empower them, but you also need to set a standard, but empower them. As soon as you micromanage, you start questioning why they're there, why you're doing all that, guess what happens? Their head falls off and they want to leave. It's a simple science. You can get all that in Dan Jones' book on how to build culture. It's just, it does my head in. If
you treat people like children, they'll act like children.
That's right.
Yes. Give them a bit of rope. If they hang themselves, fine. Get rid of them.
Okay, so we've mentioned this on the show a couple of times, right? That I was obviously privy to a lot of team meetings in my time at Green Edge, and I saw a lot of how riders interacted with that. The best day I've ever seen in a team meeting and the plan, and we showed this video with Bill's last year. Vuelta, when Esteban had to make up 1:30 on Contador, right, to get from 4th to 3rd place on the penultimate day. Most people go, it's not going to happen. Instead of saying as a director, right, this is the plan, this is what we're going to do, and let's go for it, and the riders go, oh, shit, I just got to do my job, whatever, left it open to the group. What do you guys want to do? What do you think is the plan here? And Esteban was like, I would rather finish 3rd and take that risk and potentially drop out to 6th than to comfortably finish 4th. I think that's not the culture. We're going to go for it. He sets the GC rider as buy-in. The team start cheering. I remember Bill's fist pumping, going, yeah, they're in it. Okay, guys, how are we going to do it? So then they go around the room. What do you think, Gero? What do you think, Jens? What do you think, Bills? Give them all buy-in. Suddenly you've got a group of shareholders, right? So then when the stage start, halfway through, they're like, okay, we're going to stick to that plan. And the guys go, no, we're not. It's changed. Like the race has changed. And then Steve was like, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but if you want to do this, your time's now. And we've got Damien Housen up the road. I'll leave it up to you guys, but the time's now. Otherwise, it's over. Didn't say you do it. Let them do it. Bang, they did it. Rest is history.
What are you doing? I said stop. I mean, stop now.
Mate. It was so good. It was so good. And that is the secret. This is what does my head in. Treat people with respect, and they will show the best of you. If you don't treat them with respect and the culture falls over, it's on your head. Because you will find clues that will fall behind. Oh, here's an instant. Oh, here's another instant. And then you ask whoever's in management, if I treated you like that, how would you react? And they go, oh, I wouldn't like it. Well, there's your answer. Why is a mechanic any different to anyone else? And who do we have on the other night? If they said, you will be defined by how you treat your mechanics. I think it was Henk Vogels.
Yep.
How you treat your mechanics and your soigneurs will be the test for the entire organisation because they're just as important as everyone else.
Yeah,
Having to go,
That's my rant. That's my rant. So,
Yeah,
I've
it's
thrown
good.
the fishing lure out. I've sent Luke Roberts a message. You could probably do that too, just to congratulate him on Michael's fantastic stage win, and to say we want to talk to him on the rest day and ask him if he could arrange it. It'd be great to talk to Michael, and we can ask him for some of these questions.
Yeah, it's always good when I come on here to see you guys doing your admin live on the show rather than off air. But yeah, that's good.
Why
you're
change
right.
what's never worked? Why change what's never worked before? Exactly.
Yeah, you're right. No, back in your point up, Dan. And this is the difference because I worked a season with Carlton Football Club, and I learnt. I don't profess to know much about footy. I played AFL footy as a kid, and I'm a Carlton fan, so it was lucky for me to work for the team that I supported. But I learned a lot about how football clubs work because they're so different to cycling teams. And there were players there, and one's actually just about to retire after he was just retired after playing his 300th game. Legend of footy, and very, very skillful.
Better bets?
That'd be a pretty good bet if you said that. But he, great guy, amazing player. But what I noticed was that with football compared to cycling, right? So football, they all have to be at the club in the morning at a certain time, and then they all do whatever training they're supposed to do that day, right? But they all have to then first get there, and that's when their fitness training starts. And because they're there, they're part of a group. They'll run laps of the oval. They'll do their boxing. They'll do whatever they have to do. So they get fit by default. Okay. Whereas with cycling, when you're at a race, you have to be individually motivated to get yourself out of bed every morning, rain, hail, or shine, do the ergo, home trainer, whatever it may be, your hill efforts, and you've got to be super motivated at World Tour level to do all the hard work that's required. Okay. Now there have been plenty of cyclists that are good enough to be World Tour riders physically, but you don't know their names because mentally they weren't able to do that every single day because there wasn't someone there to tap on the shoulder. Come on, let's go out and do the training. It's hard. It's a really, really hard sport. You've got to be individually motivated to rip yourself apart every day to be the best you can be and fall in love with the process of being better every day. Most of these guys have that quality already within them. So don't treat them like children. Give them respect. And if they start to waver and go down the wrong path, work with them to bring them back. Don't use the whip on them because, if they keep going down that path and they don't come back and start riding well, then you get rid of them. You just get another rider in. But it's different to football.
If your culture's so good, you'll get an environment where people around them just will pull them into line. If you're management, you won't even have to because they protect that culture so much. Like Free Rangers just said there, Cavs public spat at the team mechanic didn't win him any fans. If your culture's so strong, that would be like, man, you are trying to affect our culture here. Riders, other people would have said, Cav, mate, you do that again. Like, mate, I'm sorry, I won't even race with you. I'm so disgusted by what you did.
They did. He was full of apologies later on that day. I'm sure
I hope they did because it was disgraceful.
Michael Morku said that he wasn't going to drop him off at 50 metres before the finish. He was going to drop him off at 75 from the next day. Just punishment. You'd have to sprint for an extra second on his own.
DSM's reasons for not giving Van Wilder a start in the Vuelta, which was on his program, because he had to learn cooperation. Oh, he's just full of the rumour files here.
Keep them coming. We're a wizard. Keep them coming. We're loving it.
Yeah. Cooperation with his teammates or cooperation with management? Is it a dictatorship there, or is it? Because last year we were talking about an amazing culture in that team, and how and Luke Roberts is obviously a friend of ours. How he works well with him. And I know I spoke with Luke about Pat Eddy, who's going to their development team next year. Luke was fully understanding of Pat's ambition to do something on the track as well, because he's this is a young guy from Bendigo that's just moved across to Adelaide to be part of the high performance track cycling program. And he was wondering whether he was going to have to make a decision to just stay on the track for a little while, or just go to the road so he doesn't miss out on being a pro. And Luke was asking me about him, and we discussed how Luke's the perfect person to actually understand how you can do the road and the track. We've just gone through the Olympics, and if you look at the Madison at the Olympics, I saw Matt Gilmore actually. So rode for Belgium and Aussie Madison legend, second at the Olympics in 2000. He put up a post the other day of the start list from the men's Madison and all of the pro teams that every single rider in that race rode for, except for the two Australians who finished second last in the race. And Luke really does understand that you can manage these young riders with the road and the track, and that's where Pat will be able to work with that team well. So there's someone that does understand it, but this year we're talking about these meltdowns within DSM, so it's quite intriguing.
Rob Charlton says, good morning from Stoke-on-Trent, England. Blingham's told Subweb to shove their home up their bottoms. Best cycling show, want Iffy T-shirt. Iffy T-shirt?
Yeah, Iffy.
Well, it's the new
kit
we're getting made for the for Amy Gillett ride. We haven't told you about that, Scotty. So So Amy Gillett Foundation have now come on board as a partner with us. So they're promoting us and we're promoting their message. And we've got the Detour Desperates. I'm not sure what we're going to call them yet.
The delegates.
Delegates, sorry. And we're doing the Amy's ride, the Amy Gillett Grand Fondo, Road Grand Fondo. Dan's doing it.
Yeah, on an e-bike.
On an e-bike.
Yeah.
Good. And Will Walker, we had him on the other day. He's doing it. So
that's good.
So we've got a hard group now. Vaughan, who's into specialised clothing, is going to get
Apex
the
Custom
made.
AUS.com.
And so we're going to be starting the design shortly. I think Vaughan might even stick his.
He's on it. He's on it. I was talking to him earlier. He's going to be on Monday with some designs.
Okay.
What about a slogan? What about a slogan? Because straight away I'm thinking.
Let me
on one side.
Let me play some podcast fishing again. I'll send him the link and see if he jumps on and explain it.
Because I'm thinking, you got to remind me of his name though. Who was it? Was it the Tour of Switzerland at that stage? Just give me the 12 cog and I'll beat. Remember that one? Give me the 12 cog and I'll beat. What's his name? The sprinter you were gonna beat.
Roger de Vlaeminck.
De Vlaeminck. Just give me a 12 cog and I'll beat de Vlaeminck. When 13 cogs were. Well, only a few people had 12s and you had a 13. But there's a slogan. Just give me a 12 cog and I'll beat the Vlaeminck.
Hey, what happened just back to the stage? You were going on about Sivakov or something,
Chaingate.
Yeah,
Chaingate.
A bit like the Tour de France with
2010, Andy Schleck and
Schleck.
Yeah. But so it was getting down to the nitty-gritty and it was all starting to split up. And Sivakov, it was attacking. And I think it was only at that stage, it was just Verona and Sivakov and Storer left in that little group. There were a couple just behind them. So Sivakov got
Lawson Craddock, mate. It was Craddock.
Yep. Big attack. And then as he sort of went to the left, his chain came off and Storer went bang past on the other side. So he had to actually get off, put his chain back on. He finally gets back to Storer and there's a few words said. I'd like to get a translation. I'm not very good at lip reading. I think he called him a whatever. But hey,
rhymes with truck.
It was good. Look, the last 10 Ks of that bike race was bloody fantastic with all the different little attacks that were going. You had in the mix there was Storer, Sivakov, Verona, Kroon. The Craddock, actually, he cracked a fraction earlier, but the way they all were sort of going, back and forth. Sepp Kuss had become back towards them. Jack Haig was right in amongst it. Look, it was just absolutely brilliant. One of the best stages.
One of the best.
If there was a media centre there, I'm sure it was the best buffet as well, Johnny.
The hotel.
No, it was sensational.
Restaurant.
And the other thing, if you're listening to the commentary, Matty Keenan and Dave McKenzie, they got fooled by the vision, as we sometimes do. But when you see that camera right in front, it seems to bring that guy right up. And because it was getting really steep sections where they're not pedaling real quick. And if you're back about 100 yards, a bit flatter, it looks like they're going a bit quicker. You're stepping up all the time. And I'd see Dave Merrill go, oh, look, he's closing. I'm not sure if you're going to hold it. And then the next shot would be from the side. Oh, he's opened up the gap again. So, Macca, you got fooled by that distorted vision with it when you get the camera on the side and the camera at the front. But it's fantastic. Absolutely brilliant.
So you're saying you would have done a better job, John? Is that what you're saying?
No, not at all. I wouldn't do near a good job. They're
very careful when you want to critique commentary, mate.
Yeah, it's a whole other conversation because so my ex so I just spent 2 weeks not working with but around about and chatting with Bruce McAvaney, and for those international people you don't know who he is, but he's sports commentator. He's like the voice of athletics when it comes to the Olympic Games, and really big into AFL and horse racing, and real legend of commentary in Australia.
Yeah, sure.
And he very, very professional, unbelievably professional. Once you see behind the scenes how much how much work he puts in. And my ex-father-in-law, if he was commentating the football, he would just put it on mute and listen to the radio. Can't stand him. And Bruce is one of the greats, one of the all-time greats of commentary, and yet people don't like him. And we get Phil on as a regular guest, and you've got people that your hardcore fans that criticise Phil, but Phil's one of the absolute legends of commentary, and the way he delivers the craft for television, there is no one as good as Phil Liggett, when it comes to cycling commentary. And I actually I got criticism. G'day, Vaughan. I'll continue.
Hello, brother.
So I should have waited till you finished what you had to say instead of...
Yeah, well, you just completely cut me off now. What was I saying?
Australia.
I got criticised because someone sent me a message. I don't know who it was, some random, and you can't get caught up. If you're commentating, you can't get caught up because not everyone's going to like you. There are going to be people that don't like something to say. And Bruce McAvaney is a good example of that, right? And Phil. This guy basically just said, I think we're talking about at the Olympics, a disappointing performance. It might have been in the Madison with the Aussies. So Kel O'Brien and Lee Howard. I used to coach Lee's, and he's a good friend. Kel O'Brien's a good friend. I've known him for a long time. And I think I said something like that. Look, they're both personal friends of mine, so I really feel for them, but it was a disappointing performance, something like that. And the comment that was sent through to me, pull your head in. We don't need to hear about you being a personal friend. Get over yourself.
Ooh.
I'm like,
that's spicy.
Yeah, isn't it? It's like, get over yourself. It's like, well, hang on. So what, am I just throwing out that they're personal friends because I want to big note? So no, because they are, and I feel bad for them, and I'm going to actually say that they wrote shit.
Yeah.
But, and they are friends. And I'm still going to say they wrote shit because they did.
Did you mention it was from Lee Howard's dad? Oh, no.
No.
I made that up.
No, that's true.
We've got Vaughan McVilly back on the show from Apex Custom Clothing, and that website again, folks, apexcustomaus.com. Where are we at with the Detour Degenerates kit?
Mate, we are in the throes of getting the templates ready. So we're obviously going to get the current, partners, the Amy Gillett Foundation logo, and get all those logos on the templates first. And then they're going to be basically a plain template. And then we're going to be able to send it out to the ether. You'll be able to download the template and do your best. And we don't care how we get it. You could get out your bloody crayons and your textures and colour it in, get your kids to do it, and you can then load it back in, send it back into us, and we'll come up and show some of the really good designs, and then we'll turn it into a fantastic design for us all to wear in the for the ride. Scooter,
you're a bit of a kit aficionado. What do you look for in a really good kit?
Well, okay. First, it comes down to shorts. Like, that's the most important thing, is having good shorts. And I've had to plug another brand. It's a Swiss brand that I've got a connection with that are seen as having the most expensive.
Retail? Did you pay retail?
Oh shit, no, hell no. But this is, and with this particular brand, because I couldn't afford it, because they up to about $500 for a pair of their shorts. But once you wear them, you realise, okay, it is important. Typically in cycling, a lot of people go and spend $10,000 on a bike, if not more, and then skimp on their kit. And it's one of the most important things, is to have really good fitting and comfortable shorts. Obviously, a good seat, good shoes, and shorts are the three most important things, I think, when it comes to cycling. So yeah, then it comes down to colour, which is changing a little bit for me. So the colour, everything's gone really dark. The last probably decade, it's all been dark clothing. Black, whatever, which is counterintuitive. Yeah, because it's slimming, but it's counterintuitive when it comes to road safety, isn't it? So, I think we need to spice it up a little bit.
Vaughan's right onto that. We're going to be bright fluoro. Now, talking about those bits and pieces, can you come up with a perfect seat for Dan? He's very worried, even with the e-bike, that he's going to.
I don't care if it looks ridiculous, as long as it's comfy and it protects that nether regions.
We might do 2 chamois, mate. One on the inside, one on the outside. You'll look like a baboon, but
that's right. Yeah, perfect.
Actually, Scooter, what if Scooter?
Did you guys talking about seats? Sorry, Vaughan. Did you see Harry Carlisle today? The boxer that from the Olympics, the Aussie boxer that got the bronze medal.
Yeah.
He did 13 hours, or we may be still going. 13 hours on the home trainer in quarantine today.
Wow.
Now he's not a regular cyclist. So someone hooked him up with a Bianchi, I think it was. They sent him. I forget who that was. So someone hooked him up with the home trainer and everything. And today did, for a charity, sat on the bike for 13 hours and wrapped towels around the seat and put pillows on his handlebars because his hands were sore and he was obviously 13 hours. Everything's going to get a little bit sore.
Good on him.
Yeah. But I think, and he had foam and towels and stuff stuck around his seat. So his seat height obviously changed a little bit. You'd probably come away with sore hamstrings after the end of this, but 13 hours for a boxer, not bad.
Wow, that's insane.
What were you going to say?
Yeah, mate, I was going to say that one of your cracking sayings that you used to say to me a lot was there was no such thing as bad weather, just shit clothing, which is also obviously a very, very true term, so good wet weather clothing, good winter clothing, booties, gloves, all those sorts of things. So, I use that a lot these days. In being
Steve-O used to say that as well. I remember Milan-San Remo when they had to stop the stage or stop the day, and then it was snowing and all that. He's like, it was like, Steve-O, nah, it's just not going to work today, mate.
It was extreme. No, you're right, though. I've always, over the years, I've kept certain items of clothing that I've really liked and enjoyed, and one of them I don't wear anymore because, and you'll get this, Vaughan, but most long sleeve sort of winter in between jerseys, that fleecy material, and because the full sleeves of that fleece, it just gets too hot in the arms, right? So I have got this fleecy vest from my Mappe days that was just the perfect item of clothing for that, to the 5, 6, 7 degree day, and I used to wear it a lot. Even when I first stopped racing, because it was just a perfect, item of clothing. But now, whenever I go to put it on, I realise that it's a 21 or 20-year-old jersey or vest that I'm wearing. I'm thinking, am I just one of those old blokes that, drags out the 20-year-old bloody item of clothing and looks terrible, So now I refuse to wear it because I don't want to look too old school.
If you used to,
I drag out the 50-year-old kit, mate.
Well, that's what I'm getting closer and closer to. Yeah. We got Phil Sawyer. We got Phil Sawyer in Bendigo that does that. He comes out in stuff that, it was past its time when he was actually racing in it when it was new, and he's still wearing it.
One of the characters that went to the 72 Olympics on the track, and one of the characters of Australian cycling, Phil Sawyer. But back in the day when we were racing, the clothing just wasn't. We didn't have this wonderful clothing now, and so when you got into really bad conditions, I remember when we rode in the Peace Race up in the Tatra Mountains, it was 0 degrees. We had to start the stage at the top of the mountains, and it was absolutely snowing and freezing. There was no way to get clothing warm enough. You're just piling on stacks of clothing, but there was nothing that really kept you warm. I mean, within no time at all, even though the gloves we had them on, they were wet and freezing. Couldn't operate the brakes. I've never been so cold in my life. And you had that much clothing on that as soon as it started to warm up, you're trying to push stuff off. Then it starts snowing again and you're trying to get it back on. Oh, it's just a nightmare. Absolute nightmare.
Yeah, don't make me tell my toenail story again. I'm not going to tell that.
No, that was
cold weather in Austria. Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, you're right, mate.
It's interesting because I actually went and did La Roica quite a few years ago, and I wore my dad's leader's jersey from the Sun Tour, that orange one, and I wore a pair of woolen bib shorts with braces on underneath, and the old style chamois, like an actual chamois that you used to wash your car. That used to be the chamois that was in the bib shorts. It was 145 mile. I was working with Bianchi at the time, and I was with all of these absolute legends of the sport, and trying to hang on to their wheel and riding. And I must admit, I got off that bike and I had to do a 3-hour drive afterwards. And I was probably like that boxer. I had towels and pieces of foam under my ass. I was in so much pain. I don't know how they did it back in those days. So what you were saying, Scooter, like, Assos, Santini, some of those brands, they still just make still to this day make some of the best cycling clothing going around. And I've still got kit that I got even way back when we were doing stuff together. I've still got pairs of bib shorts that are still some of my favourite bib shorts. Like the really, really good quality stuff lasts well. It's really comfortable, and it's a really interesting time in the cycling fashion world at the moment, because you can pay $400 for a set of bib shorts and $400 for another set of bib shorts, and they're two very, very different things. One's a very fashionable, pretty well-marketed piece, and one's a very well-made piece of clothing. So it's an interesting time.
Yeah, it's a whole topic we could go into, not tonight, but yeah, you're right, because one is research and development, the other one you're paying for marketing. And there's a couple of brands in Australia at the moment that have been doing an amazing job of getting their brands out there, but you're paying for all the marketing. These guys are just coming from marketing backgrounds, and they're making good stuff, but it doesn't match. It matches in price the very best, but it doesn't match in the same quality.
Yeah, but I don't ride, but I know enough that marketing is pretty important for you guys. Rolling up to your coffee shops and go, ooh, nice kid. Ooh, you love that. You love it, and you'll pay for it. You don't want to be that guy.
That's not us guys. That's the other guys.
Oh, okay.
Hey, one side question I've got that I know is not that cycling related, but how the hell is Iffy the guy with the most hair on this podcast at the moment?
And he's barely hanging on too. Look, it's a classic cow lick.
No, it's been like that forever, mate.
I know.
That's the way it is. Yeah.
But when it got back that far, were you thinking, right, that's it, I'm just about done here? And you've just held on for like 25 years.
It's been like that for 30 years, mate. It's just the way it is. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying.
I'm going to grow mine back out again. I've started to grow it. Yeah, but just how ridiculous I look.
It does get a little bit when it hangs down like that. I just need a little moustache in the middle.
All right, we need a drinks break, fellas.
Charlie Chaplin. You do a bit like Charlie Chaplin, yeah.
I'm calling a drinks break now. That's when we have our messages from Bike Exchange and some great messages from the Amy Gillett Foundation.
Look at this bike. You think it's just a bike, right? But it's not. It's a bike 374 people are looking at. This guy, this girl, them, all looking at it. People from here, there, and wherever this is. People that are looking for a bike. Or just a piece of it. Amateurs, semi-amateurs, and pro-amateurs. This guy wants this bike, but with this crank and these bars. This could be the perfect match, but not this one. This girl has a bike to sell, and thousands of people might purchase it. Eyes on Bikes help grow small businesses. His, hers, yours, and the latest data and insights help those businesses keep moving. We are the world's #1 bike marketplace, with over 500,000 products and 900 brands, where buyers and sellers are brought together in a place where a bike is never just a bike. Bike Exchange, where the world buys, sells, learns, and rides.
Life is like a two-way street. It's about consideration and mutual respect. Roads are much the same. However you get around, walk, ride or drive, if we share our roads, we can all be safer. The Amy Gillett Foundation is Australia's peak cycling safety charity. Our mission is for safe cycling in Australia. Our vision is for 0 cyclist deaths. Over the last year, we've seen an enormous increase in people taking up cycling, whether it be for recreation, with the family, commuting, or even to start your own cycling career. we need to do more to make it safer for every cyclist. 20 cyclists every day are hospitalised and 1 cyclist is killed every 10 days on Australian roads. So, the next time you jump on your bike or hop in your car, remember to practice the 4 C's. Be courteous, calm, considerate and conscientious. Every cyclist death is preventable and we all deserve to get home safely. Please donate to help the Amy Gillett Foundation make the roads safer for you and for me.
Thanks again to Bike Exchange and the Amy Gillett Foundation. Some great messages in there. Just on another side note, I'm late to the party here, but kicking off the Vuelta, obviously teams are trying different ways of doing their content. Do you boys see the Lotto team when they're doing the recaps in the showers?
Yeah,
So iffy, you liked it?
Are they still doing it? Are they still doing it?
They've stopped. And
Wonder why.
Who's that rider? Because as he was talking, he was literally getting right under there with the brush. And I'm like, what is going on? Have I completely lost touch? Like, should have I been pushing the boundaries that far? Like, there was one time when I did almost get in trouble. We were doing one of the backstages and Chavez was talking to Heppy and, the camera went really quick and Heppy got out of the shower. And then when I posted the video, someone said, literally 5 minutes after it going live, I think I've seen a little bit too much of Michael Hepburn. You might want to take that video down. I'm like, what? And I've gone through, it's literally half a second and it's flashback. He had his towel and you could see everything for, a split second. That could have been a disaster. That's as close as I came to any sort of shower footage.
What do you say? You say you can see everything for a split second. What was that? Oh, that was the split second.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
That episode was slightly too long.
That's right.
Can you find that vid, the shower vid, and just show people, Dan? Yeah,
the shower video with the recap.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have the video, but I think people get the gist of it. It's just riders recapping in the shower, but they only did it once. And I think a lot of people are just like, you can push the boundaries, but there's always a line. And I think when you're putting a GoPro in the shower, I think that's when people start going, well, what's next? We know where the next frontier would be, and no one wants to see that. So, yeah. Anyway.
Now back to the what do we hear? Oh, the Vuelta. That's right.
That's right. Yeah.
Back to the Vuelta. One of the interesting things that happened, because it was a great stage, and I did get your text, Vaughan, but it woke me up because I'd fallen asleep watching it, so I missed all the action. But anyway, I've just admitted that earlier. But one of the interesting things, that break, there was a lot of bike riders like Felix Grosschartner, the Austrian with Bora. He looked like taking the lead. If he could have stayed close to that group, to Michael Storer of Verona and that, he would have taken the lead because he's now only 8 seconds behind Primoz. But the riders have jumped in. So now you've got Jack Haig moved up into 7th place. Jan Polak, the other Slovenian, he's up to 5th place. Sepp Kuss moved back up to 8th. So it's interesting. So Landers now dropped down to 12th. Aru, who I've been impressed with, he's still in the mix, 13th. But it's just completely changed that top 10 around. But put Jack Haig, who's now like I think 13 seconds or something in front of Lander.
Well, I think Stevo's going to test him now. He'll try and hold on to some sort of GC position for sure.
I know we've probably already talked about it, but last night's stage was one of the best stages I've ever seen.
I said exactly that.
It was like, honestly, it was absolutely bonkers. Like, I just couldn't believe it. I wasn't going to watch all of it, but I just couldn't, it was just mental how hard and fast they went for the first 50, 60, 70 Ks. I was like, oh, this is not going to, survive. And then that break and poor old Valverde and there was just action constantly for the whole race. It was just unreal.
This was your message, Vaughan, at 10:21. So I'd just fallen asleep by that stage. Are you watching tonight? dear God.
Yeah.
You're like old man Simpson in his chair. Like, yeah. So Scooter, you don't reckon they're going to go for the GC with Jack Haig?
Oh, I think they'd like to, and I'd love to see Jack up there. But remember these guys have gained time from being in the break, and it's still only the end of the first week. So 2 weeks of racing to come, still bigger mountains still to come, and hilltop finishes. I think it'll all just reshuffle again as it was before.
Boris has left a comment you like, Scooter. I agree. Phil Liggett is a legend, and also is Bruce in athletics, but I think Scotty's underrated. Always enjoy his commentary. His Olympic commentary was second to none, road or track. So
I agree. I agree with Boris. That's a true statement. I've never a more truer statement I haven't heard.
I agree as well, Boris. I
thought you were calling me Boris then.
Ryan wants to know, what are your favourite cycling kit brands?
Favorite cycling kit? Well, okay, Assos. I'll say it now because Vaughan mentioned it anyway. But I do have a connection to the importer of Assos here in Australia, and the first time I've not the first time, but when I stopped racing, because when you're racing, you just ride whatever brands. This is something that has changed as well, and I know that Ineos have really targeted particular brands to help them work with their design for obviously comfort but speed. So they've only got a couple of brands that they will work with, and I know a couple of teams are like that. Whereas most teams, it's whoever they can get within a sponsorship arrangement. And they'll just have to put up with them. Now, when I was racing, it was pretty much like that, except for when I was at Mapei, where they, targeted the brands that they wanted to have as well. They had Sportful the first year I was there, and the second year was Santini. But for me, Assos is, in terms of shorts, you cannot beat them. They are the best cycling shorts on the planet, and the price also indicates that as well. Their jerseys are good, but they're designed so that their research and development and their functionality is second to none, but they're not a marketing company. So it's not the coolest looking kit to have. One of the most popular brands at the moment out of Melbourne is MAP, and they've got a really great marketing background behind them, and that's become probably the most popular brand in Australia, I think. And of course, Rafa, which is, they didn't promote their clothing at all, Rafa. They just promoted the experience of cycling, and people fell in love with the way they promoted cycling, which dragged people towards their brand as well, and the reasonable product as well. But can't go past Assos.
I know back in the day, certain riders would actually get the chamois changed out and get Assos chamois put in their knits.
Yeah, well, I'll do that in the 6 days as well. Yeah, so the 6 days are really important, especially like I had an abscess. We have told that story on here as well. But and ever since I did that, I always made sure that I, just had particular chamois, not so much the shorts themselves, but I had Nico Sport. So Lorenzo Lepage, his father, Nico Sport in Belgium, he'd make the shorts. Yeah. So he'd make the shorts for us with the particular chamois that I wanted and that we knew were good in the 6 days with all that extra pressure in the bends. And I'd wear new shorts every 6 day. Which end up getting pretty expensive, but because they're not cheap.
Like a chamois can, a good quality chamois can cost more than the rest of the entire set of kit. Like the high end. Can you
explain on that? Because we talk about Assos, but Assos, you can only have Assos chamois in Assos shorts. It's not, but there's only a couple of companies. My understanding, Vaughan, is there's only a couple of manufacturers of the high level or higher level of actual, padding and chamois. So how does that work for brands?
Well, that's right. It's a little bit like the bike game, like there's 2 or 3 big companies, factories that make nearly all of the clothing as well, to be honest. And when it comes to the chamois, there's probably only 3 or 4 that I can think of that make the really high end chamois that are really that are super high quality. Assos, I agree 100%. I worked for Champion Systems for a long time. They did a lot of work with their chamois provider, and they ended up having quite good, really good, chamois in their bibs. But again, there's marketing companies and there's not marketing companies, and sometimes the difference between the two sets of bib shorts is nothing. it's like it came out of the same factory, people. Like it's literally the same product. But you know, one's a cool brand and one's not a cool brand, and that's where the price difference is. But you know, when I'm doing a series of videos at the moment where it's not necessarily showing how fantastic I think our company is, but also just actually putting out there some things to look out for when you're buying stuff, because right now nearly all those purchases are happening online, and so it is quite difficult to find, you know, the cycling kit that fits, and we're all different shapes, right? Like, you know, long limbs, shorter limbs, you know, our asses are different sizes and shapes, and so it's pretty important to get something that suits your bum.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Iffy, before we sort of wrap the show up, how's the silent auction going for Amila Resorts Maldives? Their prize, which is 5 nights for 2 adults and 2 children, if you've got kids, in the waterfront villa, breakfast and dinner included. And it's worth 13,500 Aussie dollars. And
fantastic.
Silent auction.
Well, silent auction, you can bid to send it through to John at cyclingevents.com.au. I've had quite a few inquiries overnight, asked for clarifications on things, but they've then watched the last night's detail and come back and said, "Oh no, we get that now." But it's still at $3,000. We haven't, no one's topped that yet.
Well, have you got your script ready for the video?
No, I'm not doing a script.
Okay. There you go. Talk to it.
No, I'm refusing.
What?
Catch some rays, all that manta ray.
Yeah, beautiful resort in the Maldives. Beautiful weather. Have a look at the quality. Overlooking the water there. COVID free, because it'll be by the time it's all sort of cleared up. We've got rapid testing on site. So it's all going to be sorted.
Oh, wow, what a step up that was, Dan. You stepped up well then.
But yeah, go to Villa.com and have a look at the rooms. They're fantastic. And thanks again to Jason and the team. And that's all to raise money for the Kareka Foundation.
Yeah.
.co.za/Peloton. Get behind that.
I thought we should have a little quick yap about tonight's stage, because it's an interesting one. Dead flat, no climbs.
What about that?
Yeah, and they come right down the coast, and then they do a big loop around, probably about 30k loop around, go a bit inland and finish. It could be windy, and if there's wind, it'll be a very interesting stage, because no matter if it's a tailwind, which they predict, but once you get down to about 30 or 40k to go, they do a big circle. So no, they're definitely going to have some side winds in the finale.
There you go. Let's have a look.
There it goes. Yep.
That's the last 10. That's the last 10Ks from where that point is down the bottom there, and it goes along that little
a big circle. Yeah.
It's
so
going to
be a very, very interesting finale. It's going to be the sprinters. Hard to go past Jacobson and Phillipson. Put Demar in there, I suppose, and Michael Matthews, especially after his ride the other day. His confidence will be back up. And so, I won't fall asleep. I'll watch this one.
And watch
let's
the
have a little wait.
Because well, the motivation levels of, as we know in the Vuelta, you know, if you've got, say, you know, 30, 40 guys maybe that are not as motivated as the top guys towards the end of the season. They've been told to go to the Vuelta because they didn't get a start in the other Grand Tours for whatever reason. And if they're too far up the bunch in the crosswind section, it strings out, they might not have that same kind of level of motivation to tear themselves apart to stay on the wheel. That's when the gap's open.
I think the guys have been told to do their log for every minute. So they've got their little notepads in the back and they're scribbling. Yeah. I don't have time.
Hey, we'll have a little wager between the four of us, but I thought, sorry, Dan, I'm going way off here, but you'll like it. The last 10Ks, what's going to be the average speed?
Oh,
what's the wind direction?
Well, I haven't looked at it yet, so you're just going to have to pull one of the. I'm going 59.7.
No, 63.8.
I'll go 58.
All right, I'll go 54.
No.
You go for the
All right,
headwind,
so-
don't you?
Headwind.
Everyone who's
Someone has
watching, whoever gets the closest, comment on the video. Whoever gets the closest, Apex will chuck a $150. So set of jersey and bib shorts, your design. For whoever gets the closest average speed for the last 10 kilometres of the race. There you go.
She's just bringing segments.
Hey, good on you,
We
mate.
don't plan that sort of stuff on this show.
I'm going with Fabio. I think Fabio back on the winners list tonight.
Yep.
I pick
Okay.
in front of Jacobson and whoever.
Well, I'll take Jacobson.
I'm going to pick Tabar.
Maybe Phillipson.
Wilson. Yeah.
Jakobsen for me.
Jacobson. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you
Did
reckon,
you get that competition you just threw out there, Vaughan? Did you put that through the lawyers and the marketing team of the show?
Yeah, I did. I talked to
Dennis DeNudo. He was going, hey, Paul, I cleared that track 5 times.
Someone asked me. I was out on the ride yesterday, and someone was asking me questions about, was that trip as loose as it sounds? I said literally the first night I woke up and I got out of bed, and there was a guy who I'd met, the night before for about 3 hours, standing in a vest and a vest only, drinking his coffee. Talking to me with all the bits on display as if nothing was wrong, and I was like waking up with the biggest hangover of my life going, what have I got myself into? Good old Dennis.
And he was considered the normal guy of the trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, geez.
Didn't he take the suitcases? Didn't he take the suitcases, boys? He went off just to visit a friend and came back 2 days later and took your suitcases with him.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah. We've got you've opened up a can of worms. Wendy May Abbott, she's put in her pick. They're all coming in 51. Jason, David, Zippy, 56.6.
Comments are coming in now,
and
aren't they?
Martin reckons they're going to bid it 10K an hour. All right.
Yeah.
Good stuff, fellas. Hey, really appreciate you being on the show. Good to have you back, Scotty McGrory, Vaughan McBilly, Iffy. Always a pleasure. As we always say at the end, make sure you like, share, subscribe, youtube.com/Detour podcast. We'll be back again tomorrow night because we're previewing stage 9, which is looking like a real nasty piece of work. So hopefully there'll be plenty to talk about. And no doubt if we don't have topics, we'll just make them up and dribble again.
And tomorrow being Sunday, we're going to have
special guest.
Brownie on. Yes.
Grace Brown.
Grace Brown.
You're going to hit her with all the hard questions, John?
Yes, as we mentioned. Yeah, why you jumped ship from Green Edge over to
I suspect that you had a
FDJ.
part to play in that. You had a part to play in that because you promised her that you would talk to management to get her a start at Liège, given that she ran second last year. Leave it with me. Didn't get sorted. So you probably let her down, I'd say.
Well, we'll ask her.
I will.
And she's having an operation on her shoulder next week, so her season's over, which is a real shame because she would have been a real chance in the Worlds in Flanders with her styles, time trial and road race. So, but she's got to have an operation on her shoulder, which she hurt when she fell in the Giro, which makes her ride in the Olympics even better. Anyway,
For sure. All right. Well, we'll chat with her tomorrow. 6:30 Australian Standard Time. Thanks again for all your support, guys. See you tomorrow. Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Yeah.